Do you love River of Darkness featuring Timecop1983?
Join us as we analyze the lyrics, the production, and even hear from Tim and Tyler.
Let's go. Welcome back to After the Midnight.
Today we're discussing River of Darkness from the Midnight's album, Nocturnal.
The bass is really driving.
Look, I know you miss her, man. But you can't keep doing this to yourself. She's moved on. Meanwhile, you're out there just walking the streets at night, alone, in a river of darkness.
Love Tyler coming in right here.
Glowing windows in the buildings from the elevated train. I see 1,000 different stories pass, faces without names. Forget why I came here, then I forget why I stayed. And I wonder if they notice if I slipped away. What if I kept going? What if I don't get off tonight? What if I ride this to the edges, through the darkness to the light? Could I find you there? Could I find you
That synth line is so catchy.
Yeah.
there? If I slipped away.
The man. At this point, I feel like we need to put Thomas in the cast of After the Midnight.
Yeah.
We're adding you to the credits, Thomas.
What if there's no answer? We're all just hearts that have to fight through the dangers of the rapids, through the darkness to the light. Could I find you there? Could I find you there? If I slipped away.
I like that subtle guitar back there.
Me too.
Here we go. Just wailing, man. Goes so hard on the sax.
I love how the sax and synth and guitar all follow those same notes too. Kills it, man.
Look, I know you miss her, man. But you can't keep doing this to yourself. She's moved on. Meanwhile, you're out there
Iconic.
just walking the streets at night, alone, in a river of darkness.
So cool.
Love it, man. I'd be really interested to know how the production process went between Tim and Timecop1983. You know, obviously with Timecop living in a different country, and just, you know, who built the drums, who, you know, how that whole process went. That always fascinates me when two artists remotely collaborate.
Me too.
You know,
Yeah.
and then what ends up, you know, making the final cut. So
Tyler did give us a little insight to how the lyrics came about.
I received the track that Tim and Jordy had collaborated on. I'm not quite sure the level of their collaboration, but it was sent to me. I was living in New York at the time, and got on a train and was going to meet my wife and some of her friends for dinner, and I wrote the whole song right there on probably the Q train, coming from downtown over the Manhattan Bridge overpass, Manhattan Bridge to Manhattan.
it's really cool how he incorporated the train that he was on into the lyrics, that he drew inspiration from, you know, his surroundings. Was pretty neat.
Speaking of the lyrics,
'Cause I love these opening lyrics that we do get from Tyler.
Glowing windows in the buildings from the elevated train. I see 1,000 different stories pass and faces without names.
Love that.
I love the way he says, you know, 1,000 different stories, because everybody has a different background, where they came from, what they're doing, and everybody, especially in New York, I feel everybody's doing their own thing, but they're all just pushed together, and it's got to be really interesting to see that.
And the faces without names goes along perfectly with what you just said. All these people are just living their lives. Everyone's very much in their own bubble, in their own little world. So once again, Tyler just painting that beautiful, you know, scenery in a couple words.
He's so good at that. I think my favorite lyrics have to be,
Could I find you there?
and it's not so much the lyric part, but I love the way he holds that note. It's just so iconic and addicting. I love to sing along to that when I hear it.
It's super cool how he does that. As far as the meaning of the lyrics, my takeaway is it someone questioning the relationship, just, you know, talking about, if I slip away, would they notice? I think you can take that a couple different ways. Did the main person lose somebody? Are they stuck in a relationship? The main character feels kind of in despair, I'd say.
And I think it's relatable, because I feel everybody that's been in a relationship, especially one that's turned sour or is bad, you know, you question, would they even notice if I'm gone? How much do they value this? I feel so alone here. Maybe I might as well just be alone. And
Totally. I feel like so often, you know, we want to be seen, and when things are going bad, you start to, you know, question how valued you are to the other person, to the relationship. You know, you always want it to be 50-50 in perfect times, but it's not that way. I also find it interesting that the main person expresses so much loneliness, and then the way that Tyler sings it, faces without names, just on this train where everybody's just once again in their own world, and time doesn't really feel real. You're just on this passing train, just going, you know.
yeah. And it could also mean, you know, everybody has their own struggles. Maybe other people are struggling the same way I am, but I don't even know it.
True. Even though it feels like a darker song, I feel like the saxophone gives me hopeful vibes in a sense. Even with the song feeling darker in the sample, the protagonist has accepted either that the relationship is over, or just whatever the next steps are. They've accepted that fate and they're ready to move on. And that's kind of what the saxophone feels like to me. You know, you hear Thomas just really belting there, and then at the end it's so light and just hopeful.
Yeah, it's time to dig into production.
So that sample has long been talked about in the Midnight community.
Look, I know you miss her, man. But you can't keep doing this to yourself. She's moved on. Meanwhile, you're out there just walking the streets at night, alone, in a river of darkness.
That and the sample at the beginning of Sunset, no one ever knew, you know, was it from a movie? Where did it come from? I know Tim's been asked in multiple interviews what that was from. Some fans went to great lengths to try and figure out where that came from.
But is it even from a movie? Tim reveals all here.
It was a script I wrote out, and actually it was the studio I was renting a room in Hollywood back then in 2017. There was one of the owners, one of the producer guys that ran the studio was named Eric, and I was like, Eric, do you want to help me out? Come in here. And he read out my script. I was like, imagine you're in a smoky bar, and it's a scene from kind of an 80s noir movie, and it's very masculine and kind of like very like sexy, just low, low spoken voice, and I was like, keep it husky and sexy. And he was like, hey man, I know you miss it, man. I was like, that's exactly right. And I put tons of compression on it and put some background kind of like noise to make it feel like it was, you know how movie clips are so compressed, you hear all the background noise and all the mouth noises, and it almost becomes like ASMR because it's so like compressed. And I did that, and I was like, pretty chuffed with myself.
It's way better than using something else somebody else made and then getting a cease and desist on a record that you've already pressed the vinyl.
So, but now
which has been a discussion in the past.
And now I just removed all mystery from that song for everyone. So, sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Was that a satisfying answer?
Yes, it was a satisfying answer. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I'd say so. Shout out to Paulie from the Midnight Discord. He was kind enough to share that clip with us. They answered that at a Q&A session before one of their shows on their fall tour.
Super cool. And I love how Tim wants to keep the song a mystery. We've noticed, he doesn't want to reveal too much because he likes the song to live on its own.
It's fun, it's fun not knowing, honestly. Like, it's cool as we break these songs down to know, but it's fun to have it be like the movie of your dreams. I think that's what he called, the one at the beginning of Sunset. And it's cool that it's a mystery. It's also cool that, he was kind enough to give up the answer.
Yeah. And it's really cool how that came about.
Yeah, just this person at the studio working late night. Tim's in one of the control rooms. Hey, come here.
Yeah, I wrote this.
Noir film, sounds smoky voice, and then you're on Nocturnal, like iconic synthwave album.
Yeah. And he did such a good job of making it sound like a movie that so many people were fooled into Googling this for years. Super cool.
Another cool part in the production is the guitar. This is Pelle Hillstrom. He also played on Crystalline as well.
And it's cool how it follows that main synth line and adds some depth to it. And a part I found really cool is the diva synth that is also named Comeback Kid, which is a callback to their song on Endless Summer. And if you listen close, you can definitely hear the similarities.
Totally.
Growing.
Yeah, it almost sounds like kind of like a phaser. I love this another diva synth right here. Super addictive. That always gets stuck in my head.
Totally.
This song. Just love the diva tone. It's so iconic.
Mm-hmm. And the silent pluck right here is super dreamy.
Mm-hmm. I like a lot of the silent stuff that Tim does.
I feel this has a bit of hopefulness, at least isolated like this.
Just always got to give props to Tim's drums. Tonally, these kind of remind me of Jason. Just real tight 80s drums.
You can tell he's a drummer.
Yep.
And of course, we have the sax by Thomas Edinger.
Kills it.
I like how it structurally plays the part of the chorus in the song.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And this follows that guitar and that synth too.
That's
so
true.
It's just really, really powerful when all three of those are going together, I feel like.
Yeah. Just growing epic symphony of sounds there. Overall, the production of this song is really cool. And if you look at all the stem tracks, it's like one of the bigger songs as far as how much amount of instruments.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, when we were going through the stems, like just how much there is. When I heard this in Static, which is another collaboration that made Timecop's album, I think that came out the same year as Nocturnal. Those were what got me into the Midnight. Really, really got that 80s vibe. The sample, the drums just really feel like, I don't know, you're at 80s summer camp or something. But in the dark city, or I don't know. It's just it's awesome. It's definitely iconic in my eyes.
Yep. And now community thoughts.
As always, we reached out and asked your thoughts on the song. This is from Cryptid Dog. The song was my introduction to them as a group. Always struck me as a breakup song, and it certainly helped me get through a rough one.
I love powerful songs like that. And another dog, Rude Dog. This song hits me in many ways, from long drives and eyes glazing over the night lights. Trying to find the answer to the loneliness may seem impossible, no matter how much you question it, just like Tyler does. It's a song that captures the heart and what this album's all about.
This one's from Laura, Timecop1984. Perfect name for this episode,
Right.
I feel like. Shout out to Laura. The lyrics, what if there is no answer? We're all just heart that have to fight through the dangers of the rapids, through the darkness to the light. Reinforces my belief that hope is actually bullshit, and the answer to survival in dark times is curiosity. To me, this song is about finding yourself outside of anyone or anything else. When Tyler sings, "Could I Find You There?" I imagine looking into a mirror, asking if I slipped away from all of this pain, would I find myself again? Would I find the person I want to be?
I like the twist of looking in a mirror. Maybe this song isn't about somebody else. Maybe it's about yourself. And
Shedding your old self, your old ways.
we kind of felt the same way about Comeback Kid with that. It could be taken either way. And
I
that's
feel that way kind of about Heroes too. Yeah,
great songwriting, Tyler.
always.
Christopher says, I can't say enough good things about this song. The lyrics perfectly encapsulate what it feels like to walk through a rainy city in the middle of the night, wondering why you're even there, and if anyone would notice if you left. The sax in this is also my favorite of the Midnight songs.
Shades in the Blue said, and shout out to Shades in the Blue. He actually just won our Heroes vinyl contest, so shout out to you, man. Thank you for participating in that. But he shared, River of Darkness helps keep the darkness of the city story running, and phrases at the beginning hits hard every time I listen to it. Sometimes I'll sit in the car with the lights and engine off and listen to this song as the night drifts on.
That's an awesome way to consume this song.
Yep.
Steven had this to say, this is a song that sucked me into the world of the Midnight, saved me back in 2017 and still does to this day. Nocturnal remains to be the only vinyl I've purchased from their catalog to date. Glad this song helped you.
Me too. Man of Steel said, perhaps my favorite Midnight track. There's something about the marriage of heartbreak and darkness that is so captivating to me. This song combines those emotions superbly. Agreed. It's a great mixture.
Thanks everyone for sharing your thoughts.
We always love getting different perspectives from you all, and it's just amazing how many we get. You can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram. You can send us an audio message, video message, whatever you want. We love including you, so send them in.
And that wraps up River of Darkness.
Crazy. Over halfway through Nocturnal now. Before we get out of here, though, I did want to mention it's 2023. This is the first time we're coming at you guys, and we just want to give you all a huge thank you for 2022. We're over 1,800 subscribers on this channel now. It's crazy. Anyways, thank you for being along this ride with us. It means the world.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay tuned for Nocturnal next, and we will catch you in the next video.
Yep.
Peace.
Later.